Hello, beautiful people. Good evening, good evening, good evening. I trust you well, I trust you good, and I trust your Tuesday has been fine and you're having an awesome week already. So how you doing? So tell me how you're doing. Let me know how you're doing in the chats. How you faring? How you holding up? Yeah. So this is a big shout out to the COMFWB. Thank you so much for making this happen and for everybody that's have been benefiting from our sessions. Today is the eighth out of the eight of the sessions supposed to be having with you. So thank you so much for having a great time. Always finding time to join us to learn from us, and I would really appreciate if you could share one or two learn from us that's been useful for you, useful for your business, useful for your brand. So if you'd be happy enough to share, we'll be super glad to see that we are actually doing the bit we can to help you. We'll be super excited to see that. So why not share with us your name, your location, um, one or two you've gotten from the sessions so far. I'm sure you've gained something out of it so far. So be kind enough to drop some kind words for us to strengthen our bonds, to help us to do more. So if you be kind enough, please go ahead and do that in the chats. And yeah, just so you know, the way YouTube is designed, you may not be able to speak back to me verbally. Okay, you can only chat back to me. Okay, so if you have questions, comments, contributions, whatever it is, drop it in the chats. Right, we'll be happy to engage with you. We'll be happy to see it, and then that will make the conversation flow better, and we'll enjoy ourselves. And I'm not here alone. I'm here with Diana. You can see Diana in the chats against with her name against the blue spanner. So she's going to be in the chat to answer to your questions, your queries, and assist me in making the session go well. So say hi to Diana. She's joining us from the beautiful town of Douala, Cameroon, and I'm joining you from Abuja, Nigeria. And it's been a great time here in Abuja. I know majority of you are going to be coming from Kenya. I trust Kenya is well today. You guys are 2 hours ahead of us, so I'm sure this is about 7:30 p.m. over there. So I'm sure you had a great time. So it's about 5:33 over here in Nigeria. So yeah, so that's it. And I hope you are good and you are ready to get started. So I hope you have the writing material close by so you could jot down the few ideas, tips, tricks we're going to be sharing here today. And we are going to be talking about staying productive online. Staying productive online. Okay, so let's see a couple of tips how you can stay productive online. But meanwhile, we are going to be doing this in three different segments. We'll be doing this in three different segments. Now we are going to be looking at how you can set up your remote office, the items you need to set up your remote office, and then we'll head over to explain the importance of building a productive working environment and provide top tips for you to do this, and then we'll help you to manage and maintain your well-being. Right? We'll share some tips why your well-being is very important as long as working remotely is concerned. Right? So this is just a reminder for those of you that have not yet signed up to join the Hustle Academy. So this is another opportunity for you to head over to g.co/hustle academy. Copy the link, keep it somewhere, or click on the link and sign up. So you're going to have an opportunity to learn how to draw up your business growth plan. Then from your business growth plan, you're going to learn about sales, you can learn about digital marketing. You learn about also how to get funding for your business, and then you learn how to pitch. You get matched to a mentor to walk you through. So trust me, these things that Google is offering for free, you don't get it for free anywhere. Trust me, you pay heavy for it. So if you are intentional about your business growth, you must have existed before now, right? So Google is happy to assist in the best way they can. So it's just for you to take advantage of the opportunity and then just sign up and register for it so that you benefit from what is happening there. All right. Okay. So let's move on. So how has COVID impacted your role so far? How has COVID impacted your role? How has COVID impacted your role? So it's different stories for different people, different stories for different brands. Obviously, um, I know the likes of Amazon during the COVID, they tripled their net worth. Jeff Bezos's Amazon tripled his net worth during the COVID, and some other brands did a lot during the COVID. Some were geometrically progressing, some were geometrically decreasing, right? So it was on one hand very very terrible for some brands, on one hand very terrible for some families, but on the other hand it was very good for some families and very good for some brands. Just depend on how well stationed you were shortly before then, and a lot of businesses sprung up during that time. People found out what they could have done before now, and now the remote work even became more of a thing after the COVID. They were not the remote working was not so much encouraged in pre-COVID, but post-COVID, brands did later discover that the job that they pay office space for and do all the commuting and everything can still be done, and well done, even away from the office, right? So a lot of brands had to switch to being hybrid and all of that. So it must have impacted you as a person, as a family, in different ways. So I want you to share with us how the COVID impacted your role. Some brands laid off a lot of people. Some brands laid off some people. Some brands had the privilege to recruit more people during that period. So I wanted to share with me how your own was impacted. How were you affected by the COVID? Was it the positive way or was it the negative way? So share with us in the chat. Remember, Diana is there in the chat to be able to answer your questions, your queries, comments, contributions, and just so everything. All right, so let's move on. While waiting for your comments, let's just move on. Okay, so let's see how you can set up your remote office. So now, what is remote working? What is remote working? So remote working is that working style that allows you as a worker, that allows professionals to work outside of their traditional working environment, their traditional office space, their traditional office environment. So it's based on the concept that work doesn't just necessarily need to be done in a specific place to be executed successfully. So, you can always get things done off the office, away from the office. So while you're having the ability to work from outside of a corporate office has been feasible for couple of decades. So working remotely is only now becoming the mainstream. It's now the thing of today. I'm working remotely currently. Diana is working remotely currently. You know, she's joining us from Cameroon. I'm here in Nigeria, and it happens everywhere across different brands. Different brands now even recruit higher pool of talents from all over the world, and the job is still done properly and successfully. So it makes things that's made things working, that's redefined the way work is done actually. So where can people work remotely? So the first of them is that you can work remotely. For some employees, choose to work from home, which could be one of the best options. So to give you more flexibility for you to also own your life, working from home, like I'm doing right now. Or you can always head out to a coffee shop, working in public places, coffee shops, cafes, bars, restaurants, will often help you to boost productivity if your home is a lot of distraction. Or you can always go get a co-working space, right? You can always go pay for a co-working space. And it's a great option for freelancers that can always want to work remotely. But it's not always free most times. So the fee can be very costly, okay? Because you are paying the cost of some other person's bill. So you are splitting it. And then you can always head over to libraries if you don't need phone calls. Libraries could be a great place for you to get your work done properly. So there are a lot of options. There are often lots of tables, right? There's most times for modern libraries, you can always find a free internet where you can get your work done more smoothly. Okay. And yes, so why do you need, what do you need to work remotely? Now, this is another question. What do you think you need to work remotely? Uh, what do you think you need to work remotely? So when you said remote, it's not like remote control. It just means that you're working off site. Okay. So a couple of things you need will be your dedicated workspace. It's a space that is separate from your home. You need to have that particular place you've separated from your home, and now the device. You need the devices to be able to work, the technology that will help you to connect, that will help you to collaborate, and that will help you to work remotely. And you also need the internet. You need something very stable, an internet that is very stable, because when you work remotely, you're not seeing these guys, you're not seeing your colleagues face to face. So all you need to do, the best way you can be seeing them or stay in touch, is for you to have a stable internet connection where you guys can always jump onto a video call or any of these things, just for you to catch up and know the progress you're making while you're working. Okay, so let's see how you can create your own working space. So you need to find a space inside your home, right? Find a space inside your home that is actually, you can convert it to a working space. And one advice for you: avoid the couch. Avoid the bed, avoid the couch. Those two places will always drag you into something you don't want to do, like sleeping. Like the couch is soft, the bed is soft. So the cushioning effect is going to going to make you fall asleep more times than you need. So pick a space within your room, within your space, and set up a table, set up a chair, something good. Okay, so make sure that the space is comfortable. It must be comfortable. It needs to be comfortable because um, you are working. You need to have your body under check also. So you need to also consider your posture while sitting. Whether you're sitting in the house or sitting in a coffee shop, your posture is very, very important as well. And then the physical equipment you obviously need will be your phone for you to answer calls and to communicate, maybe jump on phone calls, maybe jump on video calls with your teammates. And you need your computer also, maybe your laptop, maybe your desktop, video for video calls and for video conferencing. And then, most laptops always come with webcam, so you can tend to um, angle up with users' nostrils. So you can also have an external camera also if you are doing some high powered stuff. So if you are doing YouTube videos, you can always think about how to get some high powered webcams alongside with some microphones, right? And then you need to have your notebook also where you can keep jot down a couple of ideas that'll be flowing down your memory. Okay, so if anything you want to jot down, sticker notes, just have them around you so that things will be easily done for you, things will be easily done around during the work hours. Okay, and now more importantly, with this equipment, you need to have a stable source of a stable source of power. So finding a stable power source for working may be one of the major challenges, especially for we Africans and generally for freelancers too. So to be productive, you need to get a stable source of power. You need to charge, because you need to charge the laptops that you have, you need to charge the phones that you have, you need to power the television that you have. Even if you have a UPS that will not let your system go down immediately, the UPS eventually it will go off, right? So you need to have a stable source of power that can help things get done properly. So you can always try out things with the solar powered devices and inverters, right? Or you can always use some power packs if you have a system, or power banks for phones, right? So you can always get to charge your devices. You can always have a backup. Like currently, my power just went out, right? And my power pack is down. That's why it's not picking up. But had it been I had my power pack plugged to my source, it would have been bright all through. So that is a challenge I'm having personally. So it's something you need to work on as a remote worker. So you should need to have your battery. So let's say I didn't have battery on my system. This decision would have gone off by now. But I have battery on my system, and the system has a strong battery. And I have my router also that has a strong battery, and my phone also has a backup, has a strong battery. So source of power is very important because all these devices are electronically powered. So you need to power them. You need to power them so that you can get things done properly. Okay, I see you, Lucy. How are you this evening? Okay, so let's go on. I need to find sufficient internet connections. Okay, so you need to find the right ISPs, choose the right ISPs. The location where I am, only MTN works here. For those of you that are Nigerians, I'm sure you know about MTN. So only MTN works here. Glow works a little bit, but Airtel and Etisalat, they're not working here. So I need to find. I have different sources. I have a router, I have a phone, I have another small router somewhere that are all powering this one session. If one goes down, the next one takes up. The next one goes down, the next one takes up. So you need to find the right ISP, or you can even even fall back to private ISPs that can come to mount internet radios around your house to even get you a much more strengthened internet. And then also you need to consider a substitute. You need to always have a backup. Should one fail, the other one should be able to pick up. And then find the right router also. Not all routers may work in your location like what I'm explaining. You may even have a universal router, but if the network is not working, you need to always find a backup for it. So plug into your Wi-Fi. Make sure you plug into your Wi-Fi because Wi-Fi is always give you more strength, more internet strength, stronger internet strength than what a phone will do. A phone will route. Okay. And now also you need to test and compare your internet speeds. You can head over to let me confirm this link again. Fast.com, or you can do test speedtest.net. Then you can always find those options to test how strong your internet speed is per time to be able to know the strength it can carry you. Like if I'm doing a live session like this, I need to be sure that my internet speed is at least uploading at 20 Mbps. If it's not up to 20 Mbps, that means I'm going to be struggling with the internet to be kicking me off once in a while and all of that. And yeah, okay, so there are a couple of challenges with working remotely, a truckload of them. So if you would be kind enough, you can share with us the few of them you know, and so that we can flow with the conversation. But a couple of challenges I'm going to be sharing with you on what challenges remote workers is the loneliness and lack of social interaction. You lose your social life, and it's even worse for for the extroverts, always the outgoing people. So it's one of the major drawbacks of remote work, especially for these guys. So you lose that company. You work alone, especially if you live alone. Loneliness is a terrible thing, trust me. So that is one of the challenges that remote workers always have. And then you also have you need dedication, self discipline. You need dedication. You need discipline. You need self-control to avoid you losing momentum while working from home. So you don't convince yourself that a single YouTube video during your working hours won't do any harm. It's a lie. That single YouTube video, you go over to the next one, to the next one. Before you know it, you've spent hours on doing YouTube video, and at the end of the day, you must have lost track on the truckload of things that you're supposed to do. So self-discipline is also a big challenge, okay, for people that don't have some. And then you don't have employee benefits and things like let's say your office is giving free meals to people that are working on site. You lose that. Let's say there's a transportation allowance, you lose that because you are going to working from home. And then it's very hard for you to switch off. Now people think that people that work remotely are the ones that are enjoying. I bet you we're the ones that are even suffering. Because it's difficult to switch off. We work over time. We switch off hardly. Sometimes you discover that you wake up in the middle of the night and you find yourself working. Whereas if you were working from the office, when work ends, you close the system and you're out of the office till the next time you go back to the office, you continue from where you stopped. You see? So it is difficult to switch off when you work remotely. And now there's this other fear of missing out. So working remotely could make you feel left out occasionally. So when you miss out, could could feel left out on important announcements, meetings, events in the office, upcoming events and all the stuff, but you could always use some important tools like Slack to keep yourself up to date while you work remotely. So that is what even makes it more challenging because there's a lot that you may even intend to lose from working remotely. Okay, so what are the benefits also? So if there are a lot of challenges, also know that there are a truckload of benefits for you to work remotely. Let's look at a few of them. Benefits of working remotely for employees. So it's very, very flexible. So sometimes there are things you just need to do at home. You can still do them while you're still working. Okay. So maybe waiting for a repair person, maybe waiting to launder your clothes or one of those stuff. So you have the time to get those things done at the same time while doing the work. And you don't have that stress of commuting. Commuting takes a lot of time, takes a lot of stress out of you. So when you work from home, you can be at your desk, maybe you can be on your kitchen desk, can be on your bed, something. And then you just wake up and just jump on walking. So you cut that stress. For instance, if you are living in a city like Lagos, where you need to wake up by 4 a.m. and hit the road at least by 5:30, so that you can be able to get to the office latest 8:30, 9 o'clock. Because if you don't do it, you get to the office late. So it cuts off all the stress. 4 a.m. that people like us are still trying to sleep. So you cut all the stress off. And then you have time with your family. You spend more time with your people, your friends, family. And then there's less distraction if you have the strong willpower to have a steady routine. So you soon learn how to avoid all those distractions with your TV or your next load of laundry. In fact, you should find yourself getting more work done remotely, right? So you get things done much better, much effectively. The morale is very, very high also. So you are notably less stressed and then you have a higher morale to work. So we found out that remote workers have more productivity than people that are working on there because the commuting alone is enough stress, trust me. So you have happier employees, healthier employees that get to produce better work and they feel more committed to their companies. And then you have some other benefit because you get to reduce overhead costs. For instance, we are in a city like Abuja, Nigeria, or Lagos, Nigeria, or Port Harcourt, Nigeria. Those cities are very expensive to live in. Then if you are paying for an office space, you'll be thinking around 3 million naira for a small space, right? So you need to be paying that every year. It's really expensive. But if you need office spaces um, in more central areas of those states in Nigeria, they are much more expensive than that. So you're thinking around how to cut the cost of running an office space. Cut the cost of running an office space. You don't really need an office space if you're working remotely. Just maybe once in a while, you guys can always catch up to get things done, right? And then you also save everybody the stress of transporting to the office, right? And then there's a greater productivity from the team because you have a highly engaged workforce. And then there's an access to wider pool of talents. There's an access to wider. We allow people to work remotely from just basically everywhere. You can hire teams from across the globe. So work is done very, very easily. You can hire the best hands to work. If you're a Nigerian employer, you can hire hands in America, UK, just everywhere. And then you have improved employee retention. Improve employee retention because people get to do the best they can from the area they can. Their morale is still high and work is still done properly. So everybody is having a great time and then everybody stays longer on the job. So it's a win-win for the employee and it's a win-win for the employer as well. Okay, so I'm gonna be taking the first pause to check if they have questions so far. All right. So do I have any questions? Hello, Lucy. Hello, Swan. I hope you guys are good. So if you have questions, please do well to drop it in the chat. Diana is there in the chat. Please do well to engage her, and she'll be glad to answer your questions. Thank you so much so far for all you've done, Diana. And please, if you could be kind enough to hit on the thumbs up button. Please hit on the thumbs up button as you hear, and click on the share button and invite a friend that has maybe forgotten about today's session to come join us. Okay, so this is the first of the three pauses I'm going to be taking to answer to your questions. So I'm just going to go over to the next part of this presentation while waiting for your questions coming. Okay, so why your work environment is very important because the quality of your workspace is vital, very, very vital to productivity. The productivity is directly proportional to how your workspace is, right? How comfortable you are, how convenient your workspace is will determine how productive you eventually become on the job. Okay, so you need to find that designate an area within that your room, within that your house. Let there be that space that is meant for work. Okay, so you know that this is your office. This is your office. So you need to find the right chair also. Find the right chair, the chair that's economically fit. You may be happy enough to pay for ergonomic seats so that your back can stay alive longer. And you need to get a filing system also to organize your life, to put things in place so that you don't look scattered, right? Get a filing system to get things done properly, get things done in place. Okay, so a little statistic to raise your concern. So it's also seen that according to research study on the effect of work environment on productivity, workplace distractions cut employee productivity by 40% and increase errors by 27%. So there's a 40% decrease in productivity due to workplace distractions and 27% increase in errors. Isn't that an amazing number for you to raise your concern? So you can think about distractions, you can think about the errors that are incurred because of all the distraction that comes up when you're working in a physical workplace. So that is just to tell you that remote working is a better option. It's a better idea than the physical work. Hello, Kemi. I hope you're well. Yeah. So how can you minimize distractions if you need to be working remotely? So there are a couple of steps I'm going to be making suggestions for you. You need to let others know your work hours. I personally used to have a writing I printed some time ago, and I'll paste it on my wall when I want to have sessions like this. Don't knock. Don't knock. Just pass. Come back in 1 hour when I'll finish the session. You know, do one thing at a time. Get to do one thing at a time. So let people know your working hours so that they don't just come hitting on your door every time thinking you're always available. You may not always be available. To do one thing at a time, prioritize what is top priority before you go over to the next and all of that, so that you don't get overwhelmed in the course of getting everything done. Then avoid the television and the household distraction. Now, this may sound funny, but that's the truth. If you don't learn to avoid those things, you find it very difficult to get things done properly. You need to avoid the televisions, you need to avoid all the household distractions and everything that may come your way like that. So you avoid, put away the pets. If you have a dog, put them away, at least for the time that you want to do the work, right? So avoid the pets, avoid the television, and all those every other household distraction. Maybe you have games, you have a snooker board, you have a Ludo, you have a chess game, somewhere, right? So avoid those things. And then once in a while, take regular breaks to keep your mind in proper check. Take regular breaks, um, just do something, just leave the system screen, take a stroll, take a walk, call somebody, say hi to somebody, just go look at the sun, travel to the space, just take regular breaks so that you can do a little refresh in your mental health. And then how can you improve productivity within your teams? So this is a question that should also boggle your mind if you are working remotely as well. And guys, please, if you join us, please just let us know. Say something in the chat and be kind enough to hit the thumbs up button. Okay? Be kind enough to hit the share button to invite somebody to come and join us here. And if you have questions, please don't hold back. Diana will be there to assist you. So how can you improve productivity within your team? So what you need to do is think about project management, because remote team members need to be able to plan and collaborate on several commitments, collaborate on deliverables, collaborate on tasks. So they also need to track the flow of work from start to finish. You need to establish the vision and the deliverables. You need to establish the logistics for team communication. You need to promote visibility, transparency of all the work, and you need to track the quality and status of the projects. More importantly, you need to identify and address all the bottlenecks that may arise in the course of getting a particular task or a particular job done. So that is where we can recommend you to use some project management tools, the likes of Trello, the likes of Asana, the likes of Mobile, the likes of Basecamp. All these tools are very powerful and they are strongly recommended so that you can get things done in a proper flow, right? You can get things done in the proper flow. Everything can be tracked. You can track the quality, you can track the status of a particular work, a particular project. Okay, and yes, so and we have also have another stat here. So we have it also that 70% of workplace mistakes are due to poor communication. Remember, we have 40% of errors, and 40% of errors are because of distractions. For 20, no, it's not 40%. Let me confirm that before I call a wrong number for you. We have decreased productivity is 40%, and then we have about 27% of errors um, because of workplace. And now we also have that 70% of mistakes, workplace mistakes, are due to poor communication. So this is a great number that should also raise your concern, because communication plays a very fundamental role in the lives of people, in the daily lives, not just in the workplace, just everywhere. So for some reason, people don't communicate properly. So some good communication always comes naturally, but for others, it may be hard to articulate their thoughts, it may be hard to articulate their feelings in conversation. That often leads to conflicts, and often leads to fundamental errors and fundamental mistakes that could have been avoided, right? So whether you're an effective communicator or you're not an effective communicator, is very, very essential for you to understand the importance of good communication and how it can help you, can help your organization, can help the team to move forward in working. So instead of you to under communicate, it's even advisable for you to over communicate. So you give no room to all those lapses and all those flaws. Okay? All right, so let's move on. Let's talk about the general communications. The general communications, you can make use of strong communication is very integral to business success. So you can use tools like the email for some very formal conversations. For those of you know that if an information is coming through your email, it's very formal, right? And then you can use some instant messaging platforms for fast conversations as well, and some collaboration tools for project work. The likes of Slack, you can have HubSpot as well, and then you can use all those tools to enhance your communication. So Google Hangouts is still available, or some teams could prefer to use Slack. Most teams prefer to use Slack. Some people would prefer to use WhatsApp. So it all depends, but just make sure that you communicate properly in a language that your team members would understand. Now, there's a senator here in Nigeria that if he speaks to you, you need to hold a dictionary on one hand to be able to understand what he's saying. That is not communication, right? That is just maybe just talking. As long as the people you are trying to talk to don't understand you at first intention by just listening to you, you've automatically made things even more complicated for yourself. So communicate in the best means, in the best lines possible. So set rules to communicate effectively, like what I just explained. For communication to be effective, you must be clear on what you're communicating. So you don't use jargons to communicate. Don't talk about water as H2O. Isn't everybody that studied chemistry to know that there's two molecules of hydrogen and one molecule of oxygen? Am I correct? Oxygen, hydrogen, H2. Two molecules of oxygen and one molecule of hydrogen. I hope that is correct. I even forgotten what, what it is. So don't think everybody understands those jargons. Well, it may make you look superior, bossy and cocky and all of that. But trust me, when once people don't understand you, if you're not clear enough on what the information you're trying to send across, let's say you just made a mess of yourself. Yeah, that is the summary of it. You must have made a mess of yourself if people you are just trying to communicate with and don't get to understand you. So that even makes it more complicated, right? Okay, so you need to communicate clearly. Think about what kind of things will be communicated in the channel, what kind of message, the context, the way you're framing the information. And make sure you respond promptly to messages. Okay? It's very, very important that you respond promptly. Let people know, let people see you, let people know that you respond fast enough, especially if you're working with a team, right? And then set and role model some guidelines. If there be a communication guideline, maybe the boss doesn't want to be reached every time, so you can have a chain of communication. It needs to pass through your immediate boss down to the line manager and up to there before it gets to the boss himself. Okay, so just all of that to for you to be able to communicate and relate with your team effectively. Now, also for you to communicate, one of the tools you may need to also consider will be video meetings and video calls that can help you to improve, enable you to improve communication and collaboration. So you get to communicate and connect with your teams remotely by once in a while always jumping in on video calls, video conferencing calls, because all of this will basically just at the end of the day improve the various levels of communication within the team to boost collaboration, to build that community that actually, that bonding that actually exists within the team. So let's look at each of them briefly. So now we're going to be talking about the Google Meet first. So you can keep your team connected with enterprise grade conference and conferencing tool that is built on Google's robust and secure global infrastructure. So Meet is included in the G Suite and G Suite for Education. So that Google Meet is also available on your smartphone. You can download this as an app for your iOS or for your Android. So you have Meet on all those places. You can also operate Meet directly from your browser, right? So you can take advantage of this tool that can help you make your work easy. You can always jump on calls with your team. You can join with a phone. You can join with a tablet. You can join with a desktop. You can share your screen, you know, and then you can get things done. You can get things done easily. And more importantly, if you are trying to schedule a meeting on calendar, Meet Meet link automatically synchronizes itself onto that calendar link, and then a message is sent to your Gmail, to the Gmail of everyone you've invited. So that makes it very easy for you to be able to, if you miss it on your calendar, you won't miss it on your Gmail. There's always a notification for that. And why I always prefer Meet most times is Meet is lighter, Meet works faster. It's lighter, the interface is much easier, the user interface is much friendly. It's not complicated like other conferencing apps will look like. And then you can always get to share your screen, and then there is this, you can get to dial in with your phone number so that if you're in an area where there is no Wi-Fi, you can still join the meeting easily. And then we also have the Zoom, but remember that the Meet was not free before now. The Meet got free during the COVID when they saw the much traction that Zoom was having. Okay, so Zoom came in and Zoom just changed it. Zoom wasn't that popular before the COVID. When the COVID came, everybody was using Zoom for conferencing before Google began to open their Meets for ordinary people to use. Before now, it was only left in the G Suite, what it was called G Suite that time. It's now called the Google Workspace package or the Google for Education package. So Zoom is that application that you can download from either your computer, you can download it from your mobile phone, you can download it on your iOS. Then you have this 40 minutes free call that is offered to you. You can record those calls also. Okay, so that is what makes it also much more interesting. And then you can have up to 100 people on the free version. If you want to have more people, you need to expand it. Whereas Meet can run a call for 24 hours, but you won't be able to record in the free one. If you want to be able to record with Meet, you must have the paid one, right? The paid one is the one that comes with the workspace or the Google for Education suite. Then that's it for the. So with the Zoom, you can do a lot with video conferencing. You can catch up with your team, get things done fast and quick. Then you also have the Microsoft Teams, which um, Microsoft Teams till today is not still free. Okay, it's one of those tools that are built into the Microsoft platform. So it enables businesses to collaborate and communicate with their team members across everywhere. So you can create teams and channels to organize your department. You can always utilize the video and chat call functions that can help you to push communications. You can use the GIFs, you can use the emojis, you can share documents, you can collaborate, you can share files too on Zoom. You can share your screen on Zoom as well. You can also share your screen, like I mentioned, on Meet. And remember that Meet is included in Microsoft's 365 package. It's not free. So the same way I used to think, the same way Meet was not free before, they made it free during the COVID. So Microsoft had refused to make their own free. So you need to have it, you need to be subscribed to the Microsoft 365 package before you can enjoy the features of the Teams. Sorry, I mixed that up. Teams. So we have The Skype now. This was the first video conferencing tool I knew of growing up. So with the Skype video chats app, you have access to a variety of very much innovative features. You can have that immersive video screen call. You can send chat invites to anyone. You can blur your background, and you can do so much more. So you can have the Skype to do a lot. It's also a Microsoft tool, and it's very, very effective as well for you to get things done. Yeah, Skype wasn't free before now, right? So it got free some years back. It wasn't free before now. You need to buy Skype credits to be able to run video conferencing calls. Okay, so let's see how you can run effective meetings. It's a couple of steps, a couple of recommendations for you to be able to run effective meetings. So you need to set your agenda straight. You need to set them out properly. So this will also help you to frame your discussion, to help you to frame the entire session. You'll also be able to ensure that everyone is on the same page. Everyone has an heads up as to what you guys are coming to make discussion about. And then you need to also consider the tone of your voice, right? People can always see your body language easily. So what they are going to be using is going to be the tone of your voice. So you need to make sure your intonation is good and your expression is good. It's not monotone. So just speak well and don't be haughty. Be nice, be kind with your words, with your tone. And then always encourage people to use their cameras to be able to so that they can see you and you can see them. It's important for you to connect with each other also and make things more personal because that video is also going to help you to get that connect that you're looking for and boost non it can also help you to boost non-verbal communications as well, and then be very timely, be time conscious. Don't leave people waiting on the call. At least you can bear us in witness that here in Impactor we are very time conscious. Like we keep to time when our sessions is up. Sometimes you come to meet us, we've started already. So you need to also be punctual as you would be for an in-person meeting if it were to be a physical meeting. And now there are a couple of video conferencing etiquettes I want to share with you as well. Just few steps that can help you to run your meetings properly. Now, the first of them is that you should be able to dress appropriately. Prepare yourself first. Now, prepare yourself. Make sure that you plan what you're going to be saying. You plan how you're going to be showing up. And then there are a couple of considerations that you should make. So prepare yourself appropriately and then dress appropriately as well. Don't wear don't walk naked. Don't walk naked because if you mistakenly get up, you may be airing your views to the entire universe. You never can say who's on the call. So and now you should even be more conscious if you are seated. Make sure that you are seated appropriately. Sorry guys, my internet kicked me out, and but I'm back. Sorry. Okay, so let me just share my screen from where we stopped. So let me know if you can hear me. Please let me know. Okay, so just pick up from here where we stopped. Sorry about that. Okay. All right. So yeah, you need to prepare yourself and get dressed properly. Prepare yourself, get dressed properly, and then consider your lighting is properly done so that people can see your face. And then you need to also consider your background. Consider that you don't have a lot of distractions on your background as well, and make sure that your audio is good enough that people can also get to hear you, right? And now a few tips for collaborating effectively. You need to equip your team with the right tools. Those of them that will need laptops, you give it to them. Those of them that will need phones, need internet, you give it to them. Make sure everybody have their devices in place, and then make project management easy for the team, and then make document sharing very easy and make it very accessible for the team as well. And then make document sharing more like a breeze, and then encourage collaboration between the various departments. That will also go a long way to help and foster that community that actually should exist on a regular day. Okay? And then prioritize your company culture. Let it not be because you're working remotely, you've forgotten the do's and the don'ts of the company. That's wrong. So you need to keep the company culture up here while you're still doing your job. Now, final tips for productivity. Now, it's also important for you to always over communicate. It is better for you to over communicate than to under communicate with your teams regularly. Keep them in the loop around everything that is happening, and be highly disciplined because remote work is not a vacation, it's not a paid leave, and it could be very, if you're not careful, it could be very distracting. So you need to be highly disciplined, and then you need to have your tools ready for work. Your tools must be ready for work. Make sure you have those tools you need to work remotely, and find the booster that you can and find the boosters that can work for you. Something that can motivate you to get jobs done, right? Some people don't have boosters like myself. I just believe if work needs to be done, it needs to be done. So just get it done. So you can find, it could be a playlist, it could be an energy drink, it could be snacking or something. Just find something that can boost you to get your productivity up. Yeah. So I'm going to be taking another pause to answer to your questions if you have any. Any questions for me? So do I have any questions? So far, so good. So far, so good. Anybody? Okay, so let me just go over to the last part. So if you have questions, please remember to drop it in the chat. Diana is there still to answer to your questions and your queries. Please do well to drop them in the chats for her. Okay, so why is it important? We are talking about managing and maintaining your well-being. So why is it important for you to manage your well-being? Why is it important for you to manage your well-being? So it's very important for you to manage your well-being because you are as productive as your mental health is, and you're as productive as your physical health is. Yes. So if you're not feeling fine, there's nothing you can do. You can't work. So the body is a machine that is going to get the work done. You need the brain that is on the body. So they need to be in the right states, in the right frames of mind to be able to get the work done. So if you're not, if your well-being is not considered, it will impact your overall health generally, and it will lead to uh, it leads to greater productivity. Sorry, it will lead to greater productivity if your well-being is under check, and you get to also increase your resilience. You can get to overcome obstacles head on, and you know that you don't get to crumble under pressure, under those challenges and setbacks, and it boosts your morale and all those level of happiness. It boosts them if your well-being is good. Okay, So what can you do to manage your well-being, since we know that well-being is very, very important for what we're doing? What can you do to manage your well-being? Now, first of them, you need to avoid overworking yourself. Make sure that you take regular breaks. Set those reminders to take those breaks. Don't overwork yourself. Now I'm talking to myself directly. And then you need to be clear with your team when you're leaving. So let it be strict, be a little bit strict on yourself. If you work from 9 to 5 on a physical role, when it's 5, you close the system and you go home. Let the same thing apply to when you work online. Take a break and be strict on that break. So let everybody know that after this time, anything that relates to work, I'm not a part of it. And when you're on that break, turn off your notifications so that those distractions don't come along, right? And then schedule in an activity like taking a walk. You can take your dog for a walk. You can ride a bicycle. You can ride a bike. You can go to the gym at the end of the day. You can choose one or two of those options that can just make you stretch your body a little bit. And that's, again, I'm directly speaking to myself. So don't think you're all alone. We are many. And then be ready for that culture shift. So beyond the barriers of power supply and internet access for employees, traditional companies need to know that work has been revised. Every aspect of what we've known as work has been revised, and the organizational culture of what work means have been revised, right? So traditional companies also often appear bogged down by concerns about productivity lacks because people are not looking over your shoulders and all of that. So you should choose to trust the performance metrics that we have put in place with Trump and all the inefficiencies that actually exist, right? So as a business person, you must redefine what work means. So be ready for that culture shift. I look at companies today and I still wonder why people, especially software companies, why some brands are still working fully on site. I mean, come on. These jobs can still be done from your home, right? So you need to trust the overall work experience. You need to rethink the concept of work and understand your commitment and be very, very patient as well. Patience is very key. You need to be extremely very patient. So you need to also get to manage your overall well-being by exercising regularly. View your mental health as serious as your physical health, because if your mental health is not under check, I tell you most solemnly, you're going to break down. And you don't want that, because you don't want the work to suffer, okay? And then checking with your managers, checking with your teammates, and do that regularly so that everybody stays in touch with what is happening around that space. And then separate your professional life and your personal life. That is very difficult to do, especially for remote workers. But somehow, you need to find a way to separate it. Find a way to draw that line. You have a life too, apart from the work you're doing. So make sure that you draw a line between when you're supposed to work and when you're supposed to have a life. Okay? And then organize in-person meetups once in a while, in-person and social meetups once in a while, so that you guys can always catch up with what you left off. Okay? All right, so this is going to be my last pause to answer your questions. But meanwhile, if you need to learn more, please head over to learndigital.com/digital skills/courses. I'm sure Diana will drop all those links in the chat currently. So this is going to be the place where you're going to learn and get certified from Google, by Google, from fundamentals of digital marketing to basically everything. So you're going to learn all the courses in more in depth than what we've done so far. Okay. And now you should also sign up to join the Hustle Academy, where you have the privilege to learn about the business code plan, learn about sales, digital marketing, learn about where you can get funding for your funding for your business. And you learn how to pitch. From pitching now, you're going to learn, get matched to a mentor that's going to walk you through any of those processes you never knew about. So take advantage of it. Like I mentioned earlier, other brands will charge you very heavily for it. So take advantage of it. And then you can find us and follow us on social media, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. And then find Impactor and follow Impactor on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and LinkedIn. All the links is going to be dropped in the chat. So I'm looking at the chat once again to see if there are any questions for me. Okay, if there are any questions for me, please, it's time for you to ask me those questions. All right. Any questions? So I'm looking through. Kemi is still here. And who else is here? Teresa, I hope you're here and I hope you're good. Kemi, again. Kute Swan, I hope you're here and I hope you're good. Lucy, I hope you guys are good and I hope you guys have asked Diana a lot of questions. And please fill in the attendance that has been shared in the chats. Please fill in the attendance so that we'll get your certificates across to you with your correct names. Please make sure your names are correct. Cross check it again. And yeah, okay. So do I have any questions so far? I hope you've understood a couple of things that I can take home and to be useful for you, your business. So this is me saying a very big thank you. Diana is saying thank you too, all the way from Cameroon, Douala City of Cameroon. And I'm here in Abuja telling you a big thank you as well. So if you have any questions, this is going to be your last chance before we jump off. And it's been a great experience with the entire team of COMFWB. So thank you so much for making these sessions happen. Thank you so much for making it happen for everybody that have benefited from it. We are quite grateful for making it happen, and we wish you the best of your day, of your year, as you wrap off the year. Okay, so enjoy the rest of it. Even remember to click the links and sign up and click fill the attendance and follow Impact on social media, follow Digital Skills for Africa on social media as well. All right, see you guys. Ciao.